Bolt-on track units claim to offer significant improvements over tyres in terms of traction, compaction and fuel use. Farmers Weekly decided to put the two in a head-to-head test. The two tractors, both Case Puma 195s, were hitched up to a 3.3 metre Simba Solo ST cultivator, set up identically by Simba's cultivation expert Mick Jessup. One tractor was fitted with Goodyear Opitrac DT 540s on the front and 650s on the back. The second tractor was fitted with the Suzuki Mini Q-Trax, measuring 635mm on the front and 812mm on the back. Both tractors were tested with 10 timed runs of 200mm, and although both were set up to run at 1900 RPM, the goal was to cover as much ground as possible. Because there is nearly 3.5 times more rubber in contact with the ground than a tyre, traction is improved and work rates boosted, claimed the company. Compaction is also reduced from 7.5 psi for a 7-ton tractor to around 2.3 psi. With much disparity surrounding the claims that using these tracked units could see yield improvements of up to 20%, and growers who said this was more like 1 to 2%, Farmers Weekly decided to see if there were any significant differences in work rates. Both tractors were tested with 10 timed runs of 200 metres, and although both were set up to run at 19 RPM, the goal was to cover as much ground as possible. The wheeled Puma averaged about 6 km per hour running at 19 RPM, most of the time in 9th gear. Wheel slip yo-yoed between 15 and 20%, and the tractor used 18.4 litres for its 10 200-metre runs. Average run time was 2 minutes 14 seconds. For the tracked tractor, average run time was 2 metres 14 seconds, so there wasn't much in it when it came to straightforward work rates. But because track slippage never exceeded 4%, with an average speed of 6 km per hour, fuel use was almost half a litre less than the wheeled machine. The tracked machine also smoothed out undulations across the field, eliminating the nodding dog effect when crossing tram lines. So, what's the verdict? In normal conditions, tracks don't offer massively higher work rates, but they do limit slippage, so less power and fuel is wasted. They also offer a much bigger footprint, which should result in lower compaction. However, we were unable to test that here. Where they are bound to be worthwhile is in wet seasons like this one, as a tractor running on mini Q-Trax has a much greater chance of staying afloat.